celebrate the glory of battle, the competition, determination, and the boom! What a shot! Again! Finally, a worthy title! From the ashes, rise again! It is not about standing atop the mountain. It is the climb! Ah, yes, I too own one of these weapons. It is just not with me right now. To battle! How could you not win with such an advantage? Show them you are superior, and bang! My armored fingers are crossed! Yes! Just what I had hoped for! The spoils of victory continue! Memories.
Free your mind. Energy flows through me. A warrior's greatest weapon is patience. Be present in the moment.
I will achieve my vision.
My arrows fly true.
To win is great. To win in style is even greater. Such a masterful display. Play it again! I will rewatch this one a few more times.
Hello and welcome back, one and all. We're getting ready for our last match of the day, which will be featuring SSG and Shikigami.
Shikigami.
Listen, it's been a long day, okay? But we're ready. We're here for it. Let's talk about the two teams. SSG, they recently made history being featured in a match against Red Esports where we saw a double Ajax.
Whoa!
That's not the kind of history you want to be part of, I feel. But you had the utmost pleasure of casting this game just last week, Johnny.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I cast it with Jake. Yeah, it was an absolute blast. I mean, two Ajaxes within the same second. I don't think we've ever seen that before in competitive.
On the same screen. Like, for those who missed it, I don't even know how to tell you what happened. Like, it was insane.
Yeah, look, I mean, Overwatch history, it's been going for some time now, and, you know, that will be one of the moments that we remember forever.
Look, there's probably a 3 a.m. Chinese Overwatch match that has happened that there has been a double Ajax, but
yeah, well,
I like that.
This is the only
not
one that we've
competitively.
seen.
I mean, how many like triple collaterals has there been with Overclock? I mean, the one you really think about is Merit. You know, I'm sure this happened in some silver lobby where people line up, but like, you know, we'll cherish ours with Merit.
What do you know about silver lobbies, Johnny?
I do.
He does. He's down there now.
Yeah, sometimes to spectate the silver lobbies.
It really fell off.
That's. Well, I'm not personally, but sometimes I'm just like, what's going on down there? And then it's like
what's
Orisa.
going on down there?
It's Orisa, Mercy Bastion. They just get into these like big spam duels, and the more damage boost you have, the better.
Yeah, it's how he wants to like be part of the people. You know, he's coming down to our levels to see what.
See, this is why I'm so good at the feud game.
That's
because I know everyone, regardless of the rank. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm not this like grandmaster or above. Like no, I care for everyone. why I run a
Shikigami
podcast
definitely
called
in a
Clap Chat.
different tier bracket than SSG
Yep.
thus far. I mean, they started their stage 1 on a higher note with their only victory, and now it's been a 4-match losing streak since from them. Obviously, they would love to end this one on a high note. Is this doable? Is it possible? If so, what can they do?
Bit of a rough go for Shikigami. I'm curious if this is the lineup, because typically solo is the tank, right? And graveyard would be support, so maybe some changes here for Shikigami. But I know it's their final game, so maybe a little
graveyard on the
going on.
brig. Yeah, don't put graveyard on the tank. Put graveyard on the brig.
Brig is basically
Go
just a
on.
teeny tiny tank.
Right. So now just give him the real version. Just give them the big.
The big guy with the
Don't do
shield.
mini tanks. Give them big tanks.
I think with that statement, you both disrespected brig players and tank players at the same time, Zoe.
Yeah, a twofer. I'm winning.
I mean, yeah, I'll take that. Sure, why not?
Because brig players will be like, our job is way more complicated than playing tank because we gotta keep our flex support up while dealing out armor packs, and then tanks will be like, you're comparing, being a frontliner to brig. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
So,
as
I don't know,
I say,
not a
it's the
good
same
look for you,
thing.
Zoe.
Tomato, potato, it's literally the same.
Tomato.
Two completely different things. I'm very excited for this match though, as it is the last one of the day. SSG, of course, they do want to get up in that map differential. Can we look at the standings one more time as we're stalling for the
God,
game?
I miss standings.
Yeah, I do love standings. Personally, one of my top 3 things of all time.
SSG definitely needs this one, right? Obviously, stay at pace at 5-1. Everybody above them 5-1.
That's right. They did it first, so you gotta follow suit.
Yes. In terms of like map differential, they potentially could pass, I believe, TL in terms of map differential, like a 3-0. Yes, we'll take a look at it. So yeah,
Perfect.
they can get to 3, so they can get to 11, right? So you could get a 1 map lead over Team Liquid.
And Team Liquid
Timeless, I
faces
believe.
Nightmare next, so
Yeah.
this is the last one. No, it's not the last one for SSG. SSG will face Timeless tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Man,
Yes.
tomorrow is just bangers in LA.
And then Timeless as well would move into first because you're in like a 4-way tie scenario where I believe like map differential kind of is like the first tiebreaker. Like there's different tiers of tiebreakers by depending on like how many teams are tied. So
I think it's win
they
loss,
move into
then
first.
map differential, and then head to head.
yeah.
No one at home knows what's going on. Every
That's
time we
okay, we
bring up
just
this
say
line,
words.
it's just
They're
where
like, what?
it's just too much stuff happening. Well,
you
we'll
know-
say tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow and you'll find out where
Tune
it
in
actually
tomorrow and
stands.
we'll figure it out for you live on air. It's gonna be so much fun. Can't believe we get paid for this. I can't believe you guys get paid to cast, actually, now that I say that.
we do.
Because you're really,
Wait.
really good at it.
What?
So let's do it again. That casting thing you guys have been doing, I like it.
Yeah.
More of
This
that.
also, so this, with us doing this match, this has the opportunity. I mean, NA could get through 3 matches in the faster than like EMEA got through.
That was my handover production. You're allowed to take the
we
box
can,
now.
so you can take a little bit.
So, do you not cast with us? The good old
Trycast.
Tricast?
Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, Tricasting Overwatch? Let's go!
So his face when we said Tricast was like, please fly the graphic up. I am not sitting here with you guys any longer.
No, we haven't given it a go, though. We need to give it a proper go, Matt. So, like, there's no better time than the present. So,
No,
come on.
probably not. Not like an abrupt 2 surprise. Zoe Tricast. She probably wants a little bit of a heads up, but SSG
Some other
getting
time,
rid
Zoe.
of the Orisa first. Shiki getting rid of Tracer. The Tracer obviously is very good in the hands of like Sugar Free, right?
Oh, yeah.
On the other side of things, I don't think the tank ban, right? It's just kind of getting the Orisa to the mix can be a little bit of a nuisance, right? For SSG, especially if they want to go fast. So. I think that's what they're looking at here off the start. I think for Shikigami, their ban is more targeted, right? Not allowing Sugar Free to go crazy.
Yeah, I think for solo, though, the tank of Shikigami, we've been seeing a lot of brawl tanks, whether it's the Mauga or the Ram, but the Orisa we've seen quite a few times from solo, so this could be SSG recognizing that they might want to go towards this Orisa pick, and so we want to get it out of the way real quickly, and then you can kind of play around whether it's going to be whatever tank it's going to be coming out from Shikigami, right? So not too surprised to see the Orisa ban. It's useful, I think, against a team like Shikigami, but yeah, curious to see how these teams build around the Tracer ban, because like we've seen previously, the Pharah could come out on both guard and the night market. And then how do you pair with that? Maybe there's no reason to bring out the Torb with the Tracer gone as much. So quite a few different options, directions to go here, I think.
and I believe this is also SSG's, yes, because they have a match tomorrow. So this is their first match with the perks that we're getting to see, right? So we'll get their take on it, seeing what they are deciding to play, if there's anything new that they kind of like mix into it. Tracer, we see her perks to be extremely good, right? Getting all the blinks back on recall, and then also we see some people go for like the pulse bomb radius, but the getting a blink through health packs also extremely good.
It's silly. So it's like, let's take what makes Tracer good and double it. more blinks to the Tracers. I think in general you're seeing a lot of these heroes, Matt, that got extra movement with their perks. It goes for the Sojourn slide as well, having 2 slides. I mean, that's just unbelievable, because then you can get dove, you can use 1 slide, but then you can slide away a second time in case the enemy team tries to go for you, right? And so with Tracer getting extra movement in her kit, I mean, that's just going to be quite insane for the character. And so another strong meta character here in OWCS, but with the Tracer ban, not going to see it in map 1 as we head into our first map of the series, going to be Lijiang Tower.
Potentially Sugar Free playing something like an Echo. We've seen that from a few teams, and even the Sojourn, like you mentioned, right? That'll be in the hands of Seeker. We see the second, the major perk, whether it be the Disruptor Shot or the Slide, taken determining like what the other team's running, like if it's like a heavy dive, or it's not, right? Making a difference in what the other team will run. Okay, so the lineup one was wrong. Graveyard will actually be on support, right? Solo will be on tank, so all is right in the world of Shikigami. And Danny potentially playing the Mei. So we saw a little bit of Mei from it was Amplify with Phone playing the Mei, and she plays that quite often. We've seen some other people pick up the Mei, but now we'll get an extended look at it here with Danny picking it up.
Yeah, interesting, right? You get out quite early there, and maybe you look for an early pick here with the Mei wall. But there is so much poke coming out from Space Station. Symmetra teleporting early, getting those sentry turrets up, and then, Sugar Free is going to sit on this Torbjorn with the added damage from the turret as well. There are a lot of angles here from Space Station. So the question is, where can Shikigami push with their Mei to try and get someone off?
Shikigami clearly wants to play just kind of clumped up group together, because you're playing this Mei also with a Baptiste, straight with the Immortality Field, as they put a little bit of pressure on to Kellen. Kellen trying to back up with that power block and finally gets taken out. Started out pretty good for SSG, right? They actually got Danny to use this ice block really early, and SSG does get control of the point, but you just have so much survivability, with that Mei and the Baptiste. You start to run them down, but look at this. Okay, so the point's gonna flip here, Johnny, to Shikigami, but you still have players now coming off the spawn, so Kellen should be back here in just a second for SSG, and they're gonna speed in. They're gonna try and fight it.
Yeah, and with no Baptiste healing, it's going to be so hard for Shikigami to sustain on this point. This is what I'm talking about. Just look at their positioning here from Space Station. I mean, you got a Sojourn, playing the White Room along with the Torbjorn as well. There's so many angles for Shikigami to look at that by the end of this fight, I mean, there's just too many directions with damage coming onto you that Shikigami are going to go down. Graveyard getting picked early, that's not good, but I think that's a result of Space Station, the way they're playing this composition.
A lot of the meta heroes that we've seen in previous weeks, we're continuing to see here with perks just because they get amplified in a positive way, right? Everybody across the board, and Torb definitely a winner in that regard. It'll be an Amp Matrix here from Graveyard as they come right around the corner. There'll be a Ramatra Shield thrown in as well. Nice Vortex there by Kellen, though. It's going to give a slow inside of that Amp Matrix to just about everybody. It'll be an Orbital Ray here for CJ, keeping everybody topped up. Sound Barrier used by Regime. That's going to be allowing Shikigami to push on in. Even though Sugar Free does drop a Molten Core, it's going to be Shikigami coming out on top in some of these fights. Can you just stay alive long enough here for SSG to end up getting your own Sound Barrier? Bliss getting very close to it. It's going to be an Annihilation use, and they're going to use the Sound Barrier. Sound Barrier only connects with 3 here, Johnny, but with Seeker coming off the spawn and still in control of the point, this might be one where SSG can still come out on top.
Yeah, this has been a beautiful stall so far for Space Station, and Seeker is going to just clean up on the point now, getting Regime in solo as well. But there was a big problem there for Shikigami in the middle of the fight. They just didn't have enough damage to really get Kellan off the point. You are so reliant on a Rise on the Sojourn to get these picks for you, because Danny just doesn't have the range or the damage to secure some of these kills, right? But it took some time for a Rise to get going, and by the time Space Station built the Sound Barrier, they push aggressively when they lose Sugar Free, and they're able to turn the momentum on its head and secure the point still. 95% here. Shikigami need to get a good touch here, but Graveyard can support with the Amplification Matrix on this angle.
Mei strength, not exactly in terms of just the damage she deals, right? Just more of the utility and survivability as the immortality field chucked out there onto the point, just trying to keep Solo up. But the kill onto Sugar Free and then the damage put down on the Kellen and Seeker, that's probably good enough to get a fight win. It'll force players back to the spawn. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to get rid of CJ, although Maywall is behind the Juno for SSG. I also think SSG in that situation, Johnny, they're fine losing that fight. You come back here with your own orbital ray. You do have to worry, though. Regine does have the sound barrier. You're looking at sound barrier, Blizzard potentially as a combination here for Shikigami. It'll be SSG, though, moving up through this Juno ring. This will be the orbital ray used. We'll see what the response will be for Shikigami. They haven't used anything just yet, so now they use the sound barrier. I imagine this Blizzard's going to come out soon.
Yeah, and there it goes from Danny as well, a way to re-engage onto the point, and we're kind of trading here. Our Rise Dose goes down, but I mean, this Blizzard is getting a lot of value. Seeker pops this overclock, tries to finish off the point, and I mean, who's here to contest? Finishes off Danny as well. Graveyard goes down, and that's going to be SSG coming out on top here of a pretty close control center. It looked good for a minute there with Shikigami dropping that Blizzard in the middle of the point.
Seeker with the overclock at the end, though, just too much. It also felt like maybe it was a little bit late on the Blizzard. Solo was extremely low. Not exactly like the Blizzard would have ended up saving him, right? But potentially just deters them from just kind of running down the Ramatra on the other side. So I do think if you're going to play this Mei, you're obviously playing a little bit of the long game with the Mei and the BAP. You're going to have to figure out a way to like manufacture damage, and it's got to come, from Solo and Arise, the two biggest damage dealers potentially for Shikigami. This would be a little bit of a change. So I talked about the Junker Queen have some pretty strong perks if she can get rolling. It'll be Shikigami playing Pharah Queen here with the Sojourn and the Lucio and the Juno in the mix. So that is a little bit of a change. It'll be Kellen playing so you're going to play Winston Ana with the Torb Sojourn on the other side.
Yeah, but still, I'm pretty skeptical towards this Junker Queen. We haven't seen a ton of it, and the Junker Queen has quite a few counters when it comes to the counter swapping, right? So yeah, you'll get a good early fight here in a matchup against Winston, but the question is, what are your long-term plans here with the Junker Queen? An anti-nade comes in from CJ, hits a Rise and Graveyard, but not really able to capitalize on it. Solo goes down early. This is a tough pick map, so I'm curious to see if Solo can make it work.
Danny is on the opposite side of the point there, just firing rockets, right? You're just trying to put down any type of poke damage here for Shikigami. You see, that's the shout there used by Solo. Going to be able to get back out onto the point. Looked to maybe try and run down one of the targets, but was booped away. This will be Shikigami taking the point, so flipped it right back. The bad part is here for Shikigami here, Johnny, is that you're actually building up towards this nano, and you're going to be able to just send it on the Kellen into the back line, right? As Kellen jumps in, now he gets the nano, and look at this. I mean, just the chaos going on in that back line. You do actually end up taking out CJ at the start, so a large source of the healing gone for SSG, but you've just lost too many players, it feels like, here for Shikigami to keep contested onto the point. Graveyard still alive, will end up falling. This will be the point over to SSG.
Yeah, so easy fight win there from Spacestation, utilizing that nano pretty effectively, and now Solo is going to stay on this Junker Queen. I feel like this is the pivotal pick in this very round, and I think the 40% ult charge is a symptom of Solo not being able to do a ton. It is going to be effective when you get close to your opponents, of course, with the Carnage, etc., but you have to get close, and I think Spacestation right now, beautiful job working the ult angles and getting on top of a Rise, getting an early pick. Now they can just close it out with some extra spam.
I mean, Kellen jumps face first into Danny's rocket barrage. I mean, doesn't really matter though, right? That first kill onto a Rise is massive. Kellen jumps over the opposite side of the wall, gets right on top of the Sojourn, and there's no help there for the Sojourn of Shikigami. Even worse, it's a losing fight. Shikigami basically for the start, and they end up using their orbital ray, right? So you end up using that big key Juno ultimate. It'll be Graveyard switching over to the Kiri here. Maybe thinking that'll make an impact. And that is a sick shot there from Seeker, just taking out a Rise. It's moving through the doorway.
Yeah, it's really difficult here for Shikigami. You only have the sound barrier to work with. Spacestation in full control, and I get the feeling that whenever Shikigami does find something here to maybe work with, I mean, Sugar Free is going to be all over it with the Molten Core, drop it down. So Spacestation, with the Primal Rage as well, you can reliably give up so much space to Shikigami, and then you can kind of just engage on your own conditions when you feel like they're in a spot where you can get value from your ultimates. Shikigami are in such a tough spot here, and they have to use the Susu early as well.
I mean, they've been playing the Queen the entire round. We're not even, you're still 20% away from an ultimate here. So, in a really rough spot. This will be a Rise using the overclock here. It's going to be a nano on the Seeker and a sound barrier in response. And I think this might be it, Johnny. I mean, you see everything in the feed going the way of SSG. A really strong comp here. Put to perfection towards the end. Solo not even able to build up towards a Queen.
They get it.
And that is SSG winning map number 1.
Yeah, they obviously had an idea in mind there, but I feel like, at some point you kind of just have to give up on the Junker Queen pick there. I think that SSG, they are such a good team that they'll just be able to play their own game. They'll say like, okay, you're going to win the close range brawl matchup. The Junker Queen's going to deal a lot of damage. The thing is, we're just going to play around it. Yeah, we're going to play the off angles. We're going to work around it. You saw that, Kellan did a great job with the Winston just getting into the backlines and such without really having to contest solo at all. And that is what a great team like Spacestation can do. They work around your strength and find a better win condition. They don't play straight up. They don't play into your hand. So very clean Lijiang Tower from SSG so far.
You were just lacking damage, I think, with this Mei comp, right?
Yeah.
The Mei is really good at like splitting people off, but like SSG is so organized, like it's going to be really difficult to like capitalize on, catching a player or two out with a Mei wall. And I think Queen has some potential. I just think that in this type of matchup,
it's hard.
Shot.
It is. Yeah, I agree with you, but like I said as well, there are so many decent hero picks in the game that kind of deal pretty well with Junker Queen as well. I could definitely see Junker Queen come out as like a niche pick on a certain map, similar to like we saw Zarya earlier in the day, where the Zarya comes out for the first fight or two. Maybe you can build a Graviton Surge snowball with some of that energy charge. I feel like Junker Queen kind of works similarly, where if you get early momentum of the first fight, you can build that rampage, you can push early, be aggressive with your shout. But when it doesn't work out for you to start things off, then it's probably time to swap over to a hero that is more consistent in the way they contribute to fight wins in the current meta anyway.
And for Shikigami, now it's their map selection and their ban here first. Got a chance to see what they potentially go to. They got rid of the Tracer early on in this series, so Sugarfree's going to be able to play that now. Throughout the rest of it, you think that is a really good sign there for SSG. I don't know what you do against SSG. I mean, they seem so good at everything. So an Esperanca pick here, you can play like Hazard. We can see Diva action here potentially. You can still play like Ram and Maga here. So a few options or a few paths that you can go for here for Shikigami.
Yeah, I feel like maybe at this point you want to try to ban strengths of SSG, so maybe that is, banning something that Seeker does well, is playing the Sojourn, getting rid of that hero maybe puts less pressure on the solo as well.
They could play Cass, they could play Ashe. I mean, there's a lot of options.
Sure, but yeah, I mean, Sojourn is so good in this meta as well. So much damage output, right? That I really do feel like
play the legs.
Play the legs. Okay, the legs is not happening. I am enjoying just sprinting around the map though with my minor soldier perks. Just absolute lunacy. The stim pack, soldier is pretty insane, but not quite pro level ready just yet.
Yeah, it needs a little tinkering, but I even think the Helix rocket one with the stim and being able to just kind of like permanently fire, right? The 15 ammo recharge on like the Helix. I mean, that is nuts.
Okay, do we have time to bring up the soldier perks? Because this would be the one time we're seeing soldiers perks on screen, Matt. And if we don't have time, we're getting into the next map. I get it, yeah, but I did play like 5 minutes of soldier, and I was like, this is ridiculous.
I think a soldier, I think in Pugs definitely obviously is a really impactful. Sojourn is the one we've seen the most of in high level competitive play. We've actually seen like a good amount of all 4 of these perks being used. It's like one of the only heroes that we see like a lot of players just kind of opting for different things. Some players prefer the max ammo just all the time. Some players prefer the extra energy on the overclock, right? For, even bigger burst. That time we actually saw Seeker go with the double thrusters, right? When they were trying to play a little bit of a rush style of comp. So a lot of different variations here for Sojourn in terms of what you can go with.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. Like you said earlier, if you're being dove, maybe an extra slide comes in handy. I was actually surprised to see quite a few Sojourn players opting for the extended mag, because I felt like, well, you're usually only going to use like 45 bullets anyway. So what are you doing with the extra 15? But maybe they're feeling like, well, how often are you using 150 railgun charge while you got the overclock going, right? Like you're pretty happy with 100 and then you can just unleash it.
Well,
it doesn't really change the damage numbers. It just gives you some extra burst to shut a single target down immediately. I would have expected more players to pick the overcharge, but like you said, it's been a decent mix so far with the Sojourn perk. So interesting to see players with their own individual choice there.
Yeah, the 15 ammo you just have all the time, right? The only benefits of the energy is during ultimate. So it's Shikigami's map pick. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, they end up losing map number 1. They get to pick map number 2. They also get the first ban, and it is a Winston ban, which Kellen can just play ball. Quite interesting. And then for SSG, you actually just get rid of Torb. So this makes Sugar Free's Tracer and the ball even stronger. I like how this turned out for SSG.
Yeah, and this is something we've seen from SSG throughout this stage, is they ban unusual heroes. Heroes that typically we don't see in the meta that has been strong recently, whether it's the Torbjorn, the Symmetra, and like you said, a Torbjorn ban, that is just going to make Sugar Free have an easier time playing the Tracer and securing value, and Sugar Free is one of your star players, so yeah, looking really good for Spacestation. And they are happy to play the ball, by the way. You know, we talk a lot about Kellan being such a good Winston player, but Kellan's been practicing the ball, and now you're just set on a composition where everyone is playing to their strengths.
Dude, this puts so much damage on Shikigami's damage dealers, right? Being able to, whether it be Danny get the hacks or a Rise dealing with a Tracer in Pharah and ball combination, just puts a lot of pressure on these players to, you know, come up with some big kills, put down some damage, help protect Regime and Graveyard. Graveyard took some big damage there early on. Bio around the corner there from CJ onto Solo. Not going to be enough, though, for them to push around the corner, try and make a dive for that Orisa. It's just, it seems like SSG are just poking and prodding, right? Letting Seeker put down some damage. If somebody gets quite low, that's when I think you'll see the collapse come in.
Yeah, looking for win conditions, which could be the Bionade, but you know, given that they're playing Ana as well, you're going to charge that Nano boost really fast. But Graveyard, surprisingly, got this Kitsune Rush going before CJ's got the Nano, and Shiki are going to use that to their advantage and push early.
Yeah, I think they catch them completely off guard, as that is going to be the ball dropping right away. I believe it was a hack as well coming in from Danny. So you end up getting some of these players off the board here early for Shikigami, as that ends up resulting in a fight win. Already they're going to make some changes. So Kellen going to move away from the ball over to D.Va. Probably a little bit easier to kind of play against the Sombra that will be on the opposite side, right? Play a little bit of the D.Va, a little bit easier to navigate. We'll see if this is enough, though, for Shikigami to get first checkpoint. It looks like Sugar Free in position to challenge this. That'll be a Sombra translocator towards the high ground, and then now it's also going to be Seeker getting the benefits of the Nano that CJ ended up building in the first fight. It's going to push them back a little bit, but you're not going to get a ton here.
Yeah, nice disengage from Shikigami, staying alive here and giving themselves another chance to fight. Sugar Free is still in this, or Seeker, sorry, still in this backline though. Rocket's coming out, can't find the pick, goes down to a Rise actually, and suddenly Shikigami, Regime just beat the Soundbarrier himself. I mean,
two-player
this is chaotic at this point.
Yeah, it's a two-player beat. It connects with Regime and Solo. It actually is pretty good for Solo because he gets hit with a pulse bomb, and they're able to keep the Orisa alive at the time. But that allows Bliss to use the sound barrier. Connects with 4 players of SSG, and now you actually have a little bit of an advantage here for SSG. It'll be an EMP from Danny. Does connect with 3, and Seeker's actually going to use the barrage there. Gets rid of Solo, so maybe getting rid of that tank and Graveyard is enough to get this payload around the corner now.
Yeah, looking good for SSG. Finally finding some momentum here. Danny's gonna go down on the Sombra as well. And well, I wouldn't say it was clean, but they finally got the job done there for Spacestation. And now you get to push this bot, and you know, they don't really have any ultimates to work with here. So Shikigami, they get an opportunity. They have the overclock available and the Terra Surge from Solo. Don't think we're gonna find a lot of value with the Terra Surge, but this overclock from Arise could be something you can utilize to your advantage.
Yeah, and Arise goes with the option to actually get more charge during overclock, right? So that's a little bit what we talked about in the pregame. The 2 options are a little bit more damage, a little bit more bullets, though, as that's actually Seeker, the benefit of the Nano again. So that's going to be able to keep that Pharah alive as Arise was chasing him down. As this is a team kill, SSG will take the lead off the back of that. So Arise goes for the overclock there, puts down some serious damage, not enough to finish anybody off. And now I think you're in trouble if you're Shikigami.
Yeah, it's a wild play from Arise, just trying to finish off the Pharah, but doesn't get the job done. You do have a Kitsune Rush here now, which is going to be your ever-reliant ultimate to get an advantage in one of these team fights. The worrying thing is, though, that Spacestation, obviously recognizing that the Kitsune Rush is online, they're taking these positions on the high ground, and they're pretty happy to disengage. Sugar-Free trying to contest here. Kitsune Rush comes out, but like this is so early, and so Spacestation, they're just going to disengage.
Yeah, you can kite this if you're SSG, right? You can get to the high ground. You don't actually have to fight in this. So the Kitsune Rush kind of goes for nothing there. Kellen with a self-destruct. Nice bio connects on the solo. Are you even able to keep him up? You are not. No Suzu in the mix there. No sound barrier this time to keep Solo alive. Is Regime going to exit with that one, but another fight win here for SSG. The bot just continuing to move.
Zarya.
The Zarya is good against the Diva, right? But it's so late, it feels like.
Yeah, but then you have to ask yourself, is it good against the Pharah? Is it good against the Tracer? It's a barrage from Seeker quite early. The Matrix helps a little bit. The heals from CJ as well. Manages to stay alive there. It's a wild play.
Dude, CJ is building these nanos so fast. Another nano here available for CJ. Double support ult here for SSG. And it's an opportunity here, quite frankly, to close out the map, as you do actually get a kill on the Seeker, who gets the benefits of the nano. So you do get one kill here as Regime. We'll see if he actually ends up trying to use this beat. Okay, the benefit here, though, is you actually did get a DMAC on the Kellen, right? So using that Zarya to just beam down the Diva, I expect a change here from Kellen. But that is really dangerous. I mean, this is Shikigami. They go up 50 meters to nothing at the start, and they get doubled up here on the run back by SSG.
Yeah, I mean, it's some wild plays from Seeker so far on the Pharah, you know, and that fight gets nanoed up as well, and then trying to utilize the concussive implosion to pull everybody in and get some big burst damage. But I think you're seeing it here. Bliss is going to drop the sound barrier, go for an early engage. Danny counters with the EMP, and Regime with the sound barrier himself. So Shikigami coming up with a fight win here, it looks like, after a pick on to Bliss. Should be able to stabilize and push their advantage here. They have a Kitsune Rush going as well, so this should be the cap. And then maybe you can get something going here. This is where the Zarya is really strong against Diva. I questioned it, honestly, because I thought Spacestation would be able to play around the Zarya. But at this point, you have so much pressure on the bot itself, right? That at some point you have to contest, and that's where Solo gets value. And you have that Graviton Surge to go with it as well. How do you work around this?
It's checkpoint here for Shikigami, and now you actually have high ground here for Arise. That is a nasty sleep. It's going to be a Suzu use there. But, like, you know what, how are you going to play into this, right? I think, though, that's going to be a grab. So we actually do see a connect on the two players, a reload there, mid-grab there for Solo, as he's able to stay alive. So you do get Bliss. Seeker able to lip. So you are getting this payload around the corner here for the time being. You're going to have the Kitsune Rush to use in this straight away. I'm surprised you're still seeing Kellen here on the Diva. I mean, you have the self-destruct coming up now, but I'm surprised you committed to it this hard, especially as Solo's starting to get rolling here on the Zarya.
Yeah, big pivotal fight here. Kitsune Rush against the Nano, and this is where we've been seeing Pharahs with being able to move in the barrage. You can Nano barrage and move around, and here we see Seeker just goes crazy with a huge barrage there onto the Graveyard and Solo as well. This is where the Nano Pharah is just insane with the new perks added to the game.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Tree actually on his stream do some pretty nasty stuff where, you know, you have the barrage, right? And it's obviously usable while moving. But then the concussion blast that pulls people inward, we see Seeker use it there to connect with two towards the end. You can do some nasty stuff with that ability. I mean, do not sleep on that one in combination with the moving barrage. So you do get an extra 20 meters there for Shikigami. So you will you gain a little bit there. You do also get checkpoints, so you're not going to be slowed down when you pass through that yet again. But dude, we're already below 2 minutes on the clock. SSG looking to close out map number 2 here with a quickness. Is Sugar Free gets low, just going to let that DPS passive trigger, not going to kind of be lurking around. So now he's got the pulse bomb, able to work with it here. We'll see what he's going to go with, as he is actually using the perk that is the you know, blink through health packs, and you get a you just go through health pack and you get a blink back. Oh, that's actually a nice slide there from Arise, and a headshot there from Graveyard finishes him off.
I mean, that is a crucial pick because it was a great biotic grenade from CJ, but Sugar Free not able to follow up on it. And this is going to be Shikigami now getting some momentum and coming up on some big ultimates. You know, one thing we didn't mention with Zarya, of course, is that Zarya is a bit more viable here, excuse me, because of the jump ups perk, right? Like, you're able to traverse some of these high grounds now, and it's just making it easier for Zarya to deal with Diva. And now Shikigami in a prime position here to try and take the lead with an EMP, a Kitsune Rush, Sunbear, and building up to that Graviton Surge.
Well, Graveyard gets extremely low during it, and it's going to be a Rise falling at the hands of Kellen. It's going to be both support ults used there for Shikigami. They absolutely need a fight win here. They're going to deal with CJ and Seeker. The bot's going the other way. They're going to lose some. They're going to lose any type of progress they would have made. So, although they do end up getting 2 kills right off the rip, they end up using both support ults. Oh, it is brutal here. You lose Danny. You're going to get players back here for SSG. So, even using both support ultimates there for Shikigami below a minute, you're going to get absolutely nothing for it. It's going to be Bliss ends up using a sound barrier there, probably just to keep him and Kellen up. As now you just have Solo here over by the objective. They need to keep Solo alive. It'll be the nano boost with the barrage, the moving barrage. They try and grab Seeker up in the sky. It does not matter. Shikigami gets close, but not enough to beat SSG here in map number 2.
Another wild push map here in North America, as that looked really close because Shikigami, they had the ultimates, they just weren't able to have a clean fight and get value from their ultimates. And that Nano Pharah, it is so powerful with the new perks added into the game. So I think actually that Solo tried to grab the barraging Pharah, but there was just no damage to follow up on it because the Nano is just so much damage being put out, combining it with the barrage to begin with.
Yeah, he got him with a grab, but
he got him.
Just a little late there.
Yeah.
I think as well the biggest thing there is like they end up losing the bot. The bot goes a little bit further back. It is Bliss and Sugar for you who are actually able to get that bot a little bit away from kind of like the end goal there, because you're all in if you're Shikigami. You use Kitsune Rush plus your beat, and then just kind of run it down the street, and then the bot's going the other way. That is brutal stuff. You see the Rocket Barrage on the move. This is, they use the concussion to kind of actually grab people back inward. That is just a sick combo there from Seeker. Is this Nano plus the moving? This is being stuck in the grab. Doesn't matter.
It's so strong. You're like, okay, I'm just gonna pull these people in. I'm gonna we don't even need to release the halt in the game. I'll just do it myself, and then I'll use my big burst barrage ability to finish people off. That is just insane,
if you're using the barrage right after, the amount of damage obviously that comes out instantly from the barrage is pretty substantial. So if you actually use that and then into the barrage, you're gonna get at least one, right? Every time. It feels like that time used after, but you have the benefits of the nano, right? You just bring in 2 targets, you hit a rocket, but choose which way you're going to look next. You hit another one and you have a target dead. So really clean stuff from SSG. They're doing what they're supposed to do here against Shikigami. Is supposed to get that 3-0, supposed to keep pace with everybody up top.
Can I say though, Shikigami, they've had a tough stage 1. They really have, and I think people had some decent expectations of Shikigami going into this stage. So the fact you're able to bring it that close to SSG on a map like that was quite impressive to me. I was a bit of a doubter when the Zarya came out, because I think that Sugar-Free, Seeker, very mobile heroes, they were going to play around the Zarya effectively, but they showed with the new jump ups perk for Zarya that you're able to traverse some of these high grounds more effectively. Zarya can be quite the force to be reckoned with, even
for stage 2, maybe, Johnny. We should just get for the standings for North America, it should be wins, losses, map differential, and then close maps. And some of these teams here we can track close.
We talked about this match. We talked about this. I have a soft spot for teams that are not performing to the highest of level, because I see the grind. They're grinding. They're trying to get some good, hard-earned wins, and I'm rooting for them. I really am.
And these players are better than 99% of the players out there.
They are,
and they're just running up against the 1%, at that, the 1% of the 1% at the top, where it's a brutal scenario, where especially with SSG, right? I know obviously a partner team so much involved with that. They were in the scene last year. They have a better grasp of kind of what's going on here now, moving to North America, and they put together a really, really nice roster. So Shikigami doing their best here. Close map number 2. We'll see what happens here as we move on to Suravasa. Is there anything you think they could ban that could give SSG some trouble?
Ooh, ban for Spacestation that could give them some trouble. I feel like that is the that's a pretty tough question, right? Because even now, where you would usually target something like a main support, it's like, oh, let's get Lucio out of the way. Well, you know, Juno is still in the game, and you can work around that to the point now where in this meta, you know, we're seeing teams that are able to play like Juno, Lucio, Brig, and flex around between all these heroes. They're going to ban the Ana, which has been, you know, CJ has been a menace on the Ana, but that also kind of like goes in hand with the Pharah as well. But there are some points here on Suravasa where you could pull out the Pharah if you'd like to. That kind of like renders the whole Nano Pharah composition out of the question, to where SSG, they'll have to look to a different kind of support composition into this map.
If this was ranked, they'd be bringing out the tried and trusted Moira Mercy composition. I'm
gonna leave you hanging with that one.
Seeing all my ranked losses, that seems to be the only. I don't want
to talk about it.
Look, if you're other support, play some more. Don't pick Mercy. Oh, look, I know you want to play Mercy out there. I get it. Double damage sounds kind of cool, but when everybody's dead,
double damage boost.
Double damage boost sounds kind of cool, but when everybody's dead, doesn't matter that much. Shikigami,
that's something you and Joss can agree on. Looking forward to this map.
Yeah, Shikigami, one last ride here potentially.
Rolling out with the Zarya again here. Hey, it kind of worked on Esperanca, right? So
Bastion May. So you're really trying to like catch somebody off, split somebody, see if you can take them out. Feels like the only way you're going to get value out of this.
Yeah, this is going to be quite an unusual composition. Bliss gets a first pick on the ready. Okay, that's a bad start.
That's snipes regime. Yeah, I mean,
we're backing off.
You're not going to be able to move in now, right? You lose your speed. Nope. Everybody on your comp just pretty slow. Now mobile. There goes Danny at the hands of Sugar Free. Now the dive can come in safely.
Yeah, this is tough. This is not what Shikigami had planned when they loaded into the map. Can we restart the lobby?
get her. What is that? You know when somebody DCs at the beginning of the game, the server shuts down, like, yo, quick, let's get a restart. No, we do not do that here at the OWCS.
No, this is a pro match.
Yeah, little cheeky Bastion off the start for Shikigami. Doesn't work. CJ or James had a tough start. I mean, that's double dinks from the supports cross map. I mean, that is tough to see. Danny is now on Tracer, a rise on the Sojourn, right? So changing around here for the damage dealer sub Shikigami. They still do like this Zarya into some of these dive tanks, though.
Yeah, I mean, pretty unusual again to play the Zarya into a hero like Winston, because you're able to deal with the Zarya. You can bait out the bubbles and plant your Winston shield, and at that point, the Zarya is going to be easy pickings for you. But, you know, we've been seeing more Zarya. Kellan takes a lot of damage here. Kitsune Rush comes out from CJ, so an actual fight here to contest the point in its final kind of seconds, but Shikigami, they just can't stand up to the Kitsune Rush, and with that, SSG already off to a 1-0 start on Suravasa, and Shikigami, their back's just against the wall.
And you see that bubble that comes in from Solo there onto Regime late. They like don't even really necessarily care for it. Like they just burst the bubble, take out Regime, and then just push on forward and deal with Solo, right? So doesn't really matter there with that Zarya bubble. We'll see if they continue on with this. SSG just ends up using that Kitsune Rush. They're going to get control of this point first, and we're going to see Regime now move away from Lucio over to the Brig. So really worried about these backliners. The dive coming into that backline, keeping alive Graveyard.
Yeah, but this is kind of like, you're looking at a composition now. First of all, the Orbital Ray might come out here to save Solo onto the point. A lot of ultimates here for Spacestation. How are they going to deal with that? Solo goes down before he even gets the Orbital Ray healing.
And he's playing outside of it.
Going as well. This is just brutal for Shikigami. You committed a huge ultimate like that, and you don't even get any value out of it.
I guess the benefit is that the point just now goes over to SSG. Not in control at the start. Actually,
is that where we're at, Matt?
Gets contested. I think we've entered that realm. Yeah. So
okay.
Shikigami now with a grab. So grab combination here with the overclock. You got sound barrier on the other side. So should be a good response for SSG. We'll see now. We'll see where Solo decides to take this. Gonna try and get high ground. You see, you just kind of have Kellan over to that one side. It looks like Kellan and Sugar Free over there towards that left. Yeah, you see exactly where Solo looks. So he's trying to figure out like how he can kind of track one target, and that's actually going to be So that's going to connect everybody, though, with that sound barrier. So the sound barrier is going to be pretty good there. But now it's going to be that overclock. This is where Arise can make an impact, and he does, being able to take out 2. First, it's Kellen up on that high ground. Then he slides in, takes out CJ. So with a nice overclock there, Arise gives Shikigami a chance.
Yeah, and it's of course going to be an uphill battle now, but at least you got the sound barrier out. You had to commit the Graviton Surge, and you didn't get the Graviton Surge pick, so you had to commit the overclock. But if you're Shikigami, maybe you can sustain with this rally. How do you deal with this Kitsune Rush that comes out from CJ? You cannot just have to live through this. Honestly, you might as well really give up the point here, I feel like, because 81%, you're not going to get a recontest anyway. You just need to build this over the way.
You've used the rally. I mean, how could you just you're just going to use the rally and walk away, and they don't even keep regime up? I mean, if you're going to use the rally, you may as well fight.
Well, the rally's not a win condition compared to an orbital ray. Here we go. Well, they're trying anyway.
The orbital ray is going to get chopped. Oh, that's not good.
Let's see.
Not good. You would like to save that ray, but maybe they're going to make some more changes. Maybe we're going to move away. Maybe we're going to play something different. So maybe that's why we're kind of using some of these ultimates. Maybe you thought, okay, yeah, so everybody's going to make some changes. So you use the ray. You don't really get much for it. Maybe you think you were able to force out something there. Maybe it's like an overclock you think you get out there potentially from Seeker. Does not happen. But you make some changes, right? You're going to play this Maga based composition.